Namaste, everybody. Welcome to another session of Yoga for Absolute Beginners. I'm Tamal. This is Kate. We're going to be doing some balancing poses and some standing poses today, and the fundamentals or basics of how to hold them in stillness and to make sure that we're not falling or toppling over, or to the best of our abilities. So we're going to start at a wall. So if you have a wall close by, we're going to bring our heels tightly up against the wall, and you're going to plant your knuckles against the wall, so your palms face forward. Now, for most of us, we see this and it's going to seem like it's pretty basic and doesn't look like it's going to take much effort, but it does. So what I want you to do is make sure your toes are pointing forward and they're not spiraling outward. This is very common to walk like this, like Charlie Chaplin. So once your toes are pointing forward, you could also maybe have them turn slightly inward. That's also a nice option. That way your inner thighs can spin back a little bit. The quadriceps, they zip up, and then think about scooping your tailbone towards your heels, or the space between your heels. So there's that posterior tilt we talked about, just a little one. Then we draw the belly in to try to sandwich the lower back against the wall. Oh, now the work's starting to happen. We glide the shoulder blades down the back and stamp them into the wall. Then notice if your head and your neck is just kind of hanging forward. We call this anterior head carriage. I like to call it social media neck. And you're going to tuck your chin in, so you're working your deep neck flexors, and you've got this wonderful line of your head over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips, and the hips over the ankles. Now, while you're here, we're going to start the breathing process without losing all that connection of everything touching the wall. You actually hold this for a few minutes, you start to sweat. So find the inhales, the exhales. This is a very lined up Tadasana, or mountain pose. Make your breath sound like you're fogging a mirror with your mouth shut. Find the audible Ujjayi. So this is the fundamental standing posture, Tadasana. This is the blueprint for pretty much every yoga pose out there. And that's explanation for a later date. Once you're here, you can relax your arms for a moment, let it all go. And now we're going to add in a balancing pose, tree pose. So if you're having a really hard time balancing in this pose with your foot all the way up into your groin area, you can always take your foot and place it on the calf muscle, or you can even stamp the top of the right toes, my right toes here, on the floor right next to the inner ankle. Both are fine. The thing you want to avoid is putting your foot on your knee and jamming it outward and putting strain on the LCL. So you're either going to take your hand, you're going to take your right foot and you're going to stuff it really deep into your groin area. You want to drive your right foot into the inner thigh, but then press the inner thigh into the foot. Now we're going to add some extra juice to this. The balancing poses today, you want to always keep your body weight in the mound of your standing leg's big toe. So this is her left leg and the mound of her left big toe. If you put all of your weight in the pinky toe side of the foot, go ahead, put all your weight in the pinky toe side. Look how wobbly you get and you feel like you're going to go over. Then you put the weight in the big toe side of the foot and all of a sudden, voila, you have balance. The quads are engaged. Now notice if your hips are swinging way out to the left. You want to hug your outer left hip and thigh a little bit to the right. The tailbone goes under. Now here it goes. Front ribs in so the low back connects to the wall. The shoulder blades glide down. The chin tucks in. Now we're going to reach your arms up. Have your palms face each other and get your thumbs on the wall now. So much work, and it's just a basic posture, right? And the wonderful thing is this is a balancing pose, but you can lean up against the wall to help catch you. When we do this in a moment away from the wall, it's going to feel completely different. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, relax your arms by your sides. You can shake it out if you need to. We're going to switch sides. All the weight goes into the right foot. You reach down, catch your left ankle, and stuff your left heel in your inner right thigh. Now, heavy in the right big toe, not the pinky toe side. Engage the right quad, and then start hugging the outer right thigh and hip to the left. The tailbone goes under, the front ribs go in, The shoulder blades glide down, but they connect into the wall, so the collarbones start to widen, and then the arms reach up. Palms face each other, thumbs touch the wall. See if you can get those arms straighter, but try not to take the shoulders with you. Breathe. Notice how that left knee wants to kind of steering wheel out towards the front of the space. You want to start bringing the outer left thigh towards the wall. But then notice if your low back starts to pop up. Oh my goodness, so much to coordinate. Take a big inhale. Then exhale, set it all down. So now we're going to get on our mat. We're going to try that away from the wall. So Kate's going to face the long way on her mat. I'm going to put all the weight into her right foot, reach down, catch her left ankle, and stuff her left heel in the inner right thigh. Now reach her arms up to the sky, heavy in the right big toe, active in the quads. The left foot presses against the inner thigh, but the outer right hip and outer right glute hug to the left. The tailbone drops under and forward a little. The front ribs go back and slightly down. So the back ribs start to lift up. The shoulders soften, the arms get straighter, the chin tucks in. Tree pose. Take a big inhale, then exhale, let it all go. We'll switch sides. So now you're going to put all of the weight into the left foot, take your right foot to your inner left thigh, the arms reach up to the sky. We always are working from the base, from what's in contact with the floor, your roots, and then we build the foundation and structure from there. So left big toes grounding down, microscopic bend in the left leg. You don't want to lock the joint out. You want some buoyancy in the joint so it looks straight, but it's not. We keep pressing the right heel into the inner thigh and the inner thigh into the heel. We level out the hips. So notice if that right hip's higher than the left, maybe drop it an inch and then scoop the tail under. Then take the front ribs in. Get those arms straighter, the shoulders softer. Take a big inhale. Then exhale, let it go. You can shake it out. So we're going to do another balancing pose. This one's a little more vigorous. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it's going to help warm the hamstrings up so we can do a deeper balancing pose that stretches the hamstrings. So I suggest if you have at least one block, hopefully 2 blocks. If you don't have any blocks at your house, you can get 2 big books. Or if you don't have 2 big books, several books stacked up on top of each other. If you don't have any books at your house, get a couple of big rolled up towels and put your hands on those because they're going to be extension pulls for you. So you're going to have them about shoulder width apart. You're going to have your feet together. Okay? Now, take an inhale, reach your arms up. Then exhale, fold, put your hands on the blocks, or the books, or the towels. Draw your chest forward. So you want your torso about in line with the hips, and then you're just gonna put all the weight in your right foot and lift the left leg up behind you. So this is a modified variation of what we call Warrior 3. There's many different warrior poses, so we have them in order of like 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. But what I want to stress here is that there's commonalities in all these balancing poses. Put the weight in the right big toe. You can play with doing it the opposite. Put the weight in the pinky toe side again, and you start to get wobbly, and your foot starts to hop around like you're on coals. So right big toe down. Micro bend in your standing leg, but engage the quadriceps of both legs. Very common for this hovering leg to bend and be soft. So bend it for a moment, and it looks kind of like a wet noodle. I want you to straighten the left leg out completely and try to stamp your left heel on the back wall because this leg is not bearing any weight, so you can really engage it. Another common thing is for the left foot to turn out to the left. Yes. And what this does is it externally rotates in the hips and it starts to create some discomfort in the low back. So I want you to keep your left toes pointing straight down or slightly to the right, so slightly in. And that's going to help lead the left inner thigh to the sky. Now the front ribs go in, the chest draws forward. Take a big inhale. Then exhale, set the left foot next to right. Let's switch sides. Weight goes in the left foot, the right foot lifts. You feeling that, Kate? Yeah. See, even the modified versions are like super intense. Weight in the left big toe, micro bend in the left knee, active Activate the thighs. Dorsiflex the right foot. So another thing that happens is people want to point through the right toes. Go ahead, point through them backwards like that. That's still fine, but I want you to point the right toes straight down so the front of the right shin bone starts to engage, and then the right inner thigh leads up to the sky. Turn the right toes out again, and notice how that right hip starts to lift up higher than the left. We want the hips level, so the toes point down, hips square off. Front ribs go in, chest draws forward, neck gets longer. Take an inhale. Then exhale, set the right foot down, switch sides again, but this time we're going to play with the real deal. So heavy in the right big toe, engage the thighs, fire up the left leg. You're going to take your arms out to the sides like airplane wings. Stare at the floor, find a point of focus. If Kate falls, she can always grab a hold of me and take me down with her. So keep staring at the earth. A few more breaths. Now you see the benefit of getting heavy in that right big toe. That's the balancing. This is going to tone the legs, it strengthens the ligaments. Big inhale. Then exhale, only set the hands down. Inhale, lift the left leg more. Exhale, set it next to right. Switch sides. Weight in the left foot, right leg lifts. So we're getting, again, heavy in the inner part of that left leg. Stamp your right heel on the back wall. You're trying to get longer through that right leg. Front ribs go in, chest gets long. Then take your arms like wings. Breathe. Find your point of focus. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, only set the hands down. Inhale, lift the right leg more. Exhale, set it next to left. Shake it out for a moment. Okay, so you can come up to standing for a moment. You can either stay on the high side of the blocks, but for Kate, I'm going to switch it down to the lower side. If you're using books, you can just move some of the books down so you get maybe 4 inches off the ground. We're going to play with a pose called standing splits. It has a long name in Sanskrit. It's Urdhva Prasrita Eka Padasana. So you know it's going to be challenging. Same thing. You're going to inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hands land on blocks. If you need to bring the blocks closer to your feet, that's always a nice option. I like to do that. In fact, I not only like to keep my hands close to the feet, but I also like to get them wide off the floor. But it's completely up to you. Now, put the weight into your right foot, lift the left leg up to the sky. This one is similar to the Warrior 3, except there's some subtle changes. The similarity is like when we did our tree pose. The weight goes into the right big toe. Active in the thighs. Left inner leg leads to the sky. Hips square and level off. People, when they get into standing splits, they want to open the left hip as much as they can because they can get the left leg higher. Go as high as you can in that left leg. And that's what we don't want here. We want structure over depth. So you roll the left hip down so that it's level with the right, and then you see where you're at. You can take your chest and start dipping it down towards your right shin bone, and then let your elbows flare out to the sides. We breathe. You can put as much of a bend in the right leg as you like. If this is too much for you right now, you can modify. Take an inhale, lift the left leg more. Exhale, set it next to right. Feet together. Let's switch sides. Weight goes in the left foot, lift the right leg up. So again, you can dip your chest towards the left shin bone. Try to square, level the hips off. Angle the right big toe straight down. Let the right inner thigh lead up. Soften the shoulders away from the neck and the ears. And breathe. Take an inhale, lift the right leg more. Exhale, set it next to left. Let's squat down and sit your butt on the floor. So now that we've warmed the legs up and we play with all these balancing poses, we'll do a basic seated forward bend. It's such a great foundational posture. Your legs extend out, grab your butt, move your glutes out of the way, move the bottoms of your thighs out of the way. If you need a rolled up towel or a bolster underneath your glutes to elevate your seat, that's a nice option. Inhale, reach your arms up, then exhale, hinge and fold forward. Wherever your hands land is fine, whether that's on the knees or the shins, or if you touch the feet. It's about what are you experiencing in the backs of the legs. Keep the toes pointing up. Activate them. Maybe inhale, lift the head a little higher. Then exhale, let the head come down and draw your chest forward. This should feel really good after balancing on your legs and firing up the hamstrings and quadriceps. These little mini classes are supposed to be informative so that we're gaining tools to apply to our practice. We go into our yoga sessions with confidence then. And from here you can sit up. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Hold on to your feet, pull your heels in towards your groin. Take an inhale, lift the chest. Then exhale, fold and use your elbows to push your knees towards the ground. I like to pull my chest past the toes. And even if your knees are hiked way high up, that's fine. You can always take something, again, a towel or a bolster, and put it underneath your sit bones. The elevating of your seat helps. And from here you can sit up, cross your legs, take your hands at prayer in front of the heart, close your eyes, big inhale, hold it, and let it go. Namaste. So if you want to take a moment to lay on your back with your eyes closed for a restful position, Shavasana, it's always a nice option. Otherwise, this was just another session of Yoga for Absolute Beginners. I'm Tamal. This was Kate. We look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Take care.